Chosen ones, they dared to call you fallen when you walked away from your church. But the truth? They are the fallen ones. You didn't leave out of defiance, you left because God called you directly. You saw through their rituals, their empty words, their false holiness. While they cling to their crumbling traditions, you stepped into the raw, unfiltered presence of the Almighty. Their whispers echo like chains, desperate to keep you tethered. Stay with us, they said. You'll lose yourself out there. But you didn't lose yourself. You found what they feared most, a fire they couldn't control. They called it rebellion. They called it sin. You know what it is. It's the awakening they tried to bury under sermons and sanctions. The awakening they've spent centuries snuffing out in chosen ones like you. You see now what they refuse to admit. Their structure isn't built on faith but fear. Fear that without you, their fragile empire will collapse. Fear that your light exposes their shadows, that your defiance unmasks their lies. They've painted their system as sacred, their leaders as divine. But beneath the gold-plated facade lies a desperate need to maintain power. They thrive on control, not connection. They demand worship, not understanding. And when you turned away, they turned on you. The label of fallen isn't a reflection of your failure, but their desperation. They can't stand to see you rise without them. They want to convince you that freedom is your enemy, that your path without their approval leads to ruin. Yet the fire in your soul tells a different story. You did not fall, you ascended. When you turned your back on their hollow rituals and fragile doctrines, it wasn't failure, it was liberation. Their rules were not designed to save you, but to suppress you. They twisted their words into chains, their systems into prisons, and they called it salvation. But you saw the cracks in their foundation, the truth they buried beneath traditions meant to pacify and control. Their fear of your awakening is louder than their condemnation. They do not hate you for walking away. They fear what you've discovered. They fear the fire in your spirit, a fire they could not ignite nor extinguish. That's why they call you fallen. That's why they whisper about you in corners and preach warnings from pulpits. But their fear has no power over you now. You've seen their truth, and it is small, hollow, desperate. Their narrative was never meant to guide you. It was meant to keep you compliant. They told you conformity was the path to righteousness. They demanded obedience, not faith. They sold you unity, but delivered chains. And now that you've broken free, they cannot comprehend it. They cannot fathom a soul walking a path they did not pave, finding truth they did not offer. Romans chapter 12 verse 2 does not speak of compliance. It speaks of renewal. It does not call for conformity, but for transformation. You were not meant to kneel at their altars forever. You were meant to rise above them, to see beyond their walls. Your mind renewed, your spirit awakened, your path illuminated not by their doctrine, but by divine truth. They called you a threat because they saw you for what you are, untethered, unshackled, unafraid. They said you would fall without them, but here you stand, stronger than their fears, brighter than their shadows. You are not fallen, you are free, and in that freedom lies a truth they can never own. Falling is not destruction, it is transformation. When you step into the unknown, shedding the comfortable lies and stagnant rituals, the world will call it chaos. They will say you are lost, broken, ruined. But falling is often the only way to see the cracks in the foundation of what you believe to be solid. It is the path of wisdom, forged not by blind obedience, but by the fire of discernment and the steel of perseverance. Drop a comment. I didn't fall, I ascended. If breaking free was your liberation, you were not meant to stay tethered to their stagnant truths. To fall is to break free from the inertia of systems designed to keep you compliant. They will call it rebellion, but rebellion is merely the first step towards sovereignty. You are carving your path in defiance of their control, not to destroy but to grow, to evolve, to rise beyond their limited grasp. They fear your fall because it challenges their stagnation. Your descent disrupts their illusion of power. The trials you face will not destroy you, they will sharpen you. Wisdom does not come to those who remain untested. It is born in the crucible of struggle, in the choices you make when the ground beneath you crumbles. Falling is not failure. It is the moment when you reject their lies and find the strength to claim the truth for yourself. It is the moment when you stop asking for permission to exist and start living as you were meant to. Free. Even the mythologies they try to wield against you hold the truth they wish to hide. Loki, cast as the trickster and the fallen, was not destruction incarnate, but the force of change. Through chaos he unraveled illusions and forged a new order, one that even the gods could not resist. Your fall is no different. You are not broken. You are the fire that will burn away the old and bring forth the new. Falling is not the end. It is the beginning of your becoming. When you fall, it is not the end. It is the divine striking flint against your soul to ignite the fire within. Falling is the moment God's call pierces through the noise, louder than your doubts, sharper than the chains that held you. This is not defeat, it is awakening. The world will tremble at the sight of your rising because your struggle is the signal of something greater, a force unshackled, a purpose unleashed. Systems of control thrive on keeping you blind, numbed by their illusions. They built their towers of lies on your silence, fortified their empires with your submission. But when chosen ones awaken, the very foundation of their power cracks. They fear you not because you fell, but because you now see through their veils. Their illusions cannot hold against the clarity of your soul's calling. They called it rebellion, but it's revelation. They called it failure, but it's the first step to freedom. Stop right there. Yes, you. This message isn't for everyone, and if you don't feel it, that's fine. Move along. But if you felt it deep in your bones, you'll know this is for you. Here's to the chosen ones, the ones who don't fit in, the ones who see beyond the veil, the ones who've been told to stay quiet, to settle, to conform, but never could. They aren't interested in what's ordinary. They aren't here to follow someone else's rules. They're the light in the dark, the storm that shatters illusions, the unshakable, the unstoppable, the untouchable. While the world is busy running circles, they're walking their own path alone if they must. Not for the applause, not for the approval, but because it's who they are. Here's to the ones who take what was meant to destroy them and transform it into something divine. The ones who carry wisdom that can't be taught, only earned. If this resonates with you, then maybe it's time to find your people. The Obsidian Inner Order is the only place of its kind, the #1 Ascension Nexus for chosen ones, where over 400 of us gather to share wisdom, connect and transform. No masks, no games, just truth. The link is in the description. If you're ready, you'll know where to find us. Adversity is not the weapon that breaks you. It is the forge that remakes you. The fire of hardship does not consume chosen ones. It purifies them, burns away their doubts and tempers their spirit for the battles ahead. Every trial, every wound, every moment of despair is a crucible designed to strip you of weakness and reveal the strength that systems of power fear most. They tried to bury you under the weight of their lies, but adversity has called you to rise, sharper, stronger, unyielding. When Katniss Everdeen stood on the brink of ruin, it was not just her survival at stake, but the awakening of a greater purpose. Every lash of oppression, every moment of loss, carved into her a clarity that defied the capital's control. She did not rise because she sought glory or revenge. She rose because adversity demanded it. The arena was not her punishment, it was her crucible. The capital sought to crush her will, but through fire and anguish, she became a symbol of hope, rebellion and transformation. In her lowest moments, she did not lose herself. She discovered the unshakable truth of her mission. For chosen ones, falling is not the end but the spark of transformation. Your trials are not curses, they are the call to your divine mission. You're not defined by the wounds you endure, but by the strength you summon in their wake. Systems of power will tighten their grip, shadows will rise to block your light, and manipulation will strike at your heart. But every blow prepares you for what lies ahead. Adversity is the hammer, and your spirit is the steel. You are not here to survive, you are here to rise. Every trial sharpens your purpose, every scar is a testament to your endurance, and every fall is a step closer to your awakening. Through fire and hardship you become unstoppable, a force that systems cannot silence and shadows cannot contain. You are forged, chosen, ready. You have seen two paths of the fallen, those who plummet by choice, consumed by greed and control, and those who are pushed by trauma and manipulation, their fall unchosen but inevitable. The first path leads to corruption, intentional falls taken by those who reject light for power, who twist their descent into a weapon to dominate others. They embrace the pit as their throne, turning their backs on redemption. The second path, though forged in pain, can be the crucible for transformation. It is the fall that scars but does not destroy, the descent that opens the way to divine restoration. Your pain is not the end, it is the start of your rising. Dante's journey through the Inferno shows the truth of sequential falls. The descent into darkness was not the conclusion of his story, but the gateway to something greater. Each step deeper into the pit stripped away illusions, burned away the lies, and revealed the reality of sin, suffering, and the weight of choice. His journey did not stop in hell. The Inferno was merely the fire that refined his soul, preparing him to ascend into paradise. The fall was not a punishment, it was the path to redemption, and so it is for you. What they called your failure was the first step toward your awakening. Trauma pushed you into the depths, but it did not claim you. Manipulation tried to break you, but you are not broken. Every scar, every shadow, every tear was carving out the space for your transformation. Your fall is not like theirs. Those who fall by choice, who revel in control and destruction, are chained by their pride. They fall and never rise. But you, your descent is the refining fire that strengthens your spirit, the storm that clears the path ahead. You will not remain in the abyss. This fall is your proving ground. It is not the end. It is your ascent in disguise. Your trials are not accidents. They are the design of the divine, shaping you into something unstoppable. Challenges are the flames meant to burn away fear, the grindstone to sharpen your spirit, the hammer to forge your resolve. You were not chosen for comfort but for transformation. The path is steep because your mission is great. Every blow against you, every word of condemnation, every moment of despair is a tool wielded by the divine to prepare you for your purpose. You are not a victim of chaos. You are a participant in a sacred refining. Joan of Arc knew this truth. Condemned as a heretic, betrayed by the institutions that should have upheld justice, she stood unwavering. The very forces that sought to silence her only amplified the truth she carried. They burned her body but could not extinguish her legacy. She was not a warrior by chance but by divine design, each trial sharpening her conviction. Her strength did not come from avoiding the fire, but from walking through it, head high, spirit unbroken. The institutions that condemned her revealed their own fear of what they could not control. Her trials, brutal as they were, became her testimony, a beacon of divine truth and unshakable purpose. Your challenges are no different. They are not punishment but preparation. Through resistance your spiritual muscles grow. Through condemnation your clarity is sharpened. They will call you a heretic, a rebel, a threat because they cannot understand your purpose. Their fear is their confession. They know what you are capable of and it terrifies them. Every trial you face is a sign of your significance, a confirmation of your calling. You were not meant to crawl through life avoiding adversity. You were chosen to rise, forged through the fire, unyielding, ready. Like Joan, you will not be destroyed by your challenges. You will be defined by how you overcome them. Let the trials come. They are the tools that carve your destiny. You were made for this. Your fall is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your transformation. When you are broken, it does not mean you are discarded or forgotten. It means you are being reshaped, remade, and refined. The cracks that appear in your life are not signs of failure, but openings for something greater to take root. The systems you once trusted may crumble under their own weight, their foundations revealed as hollow and corrupt. Communities may falter as greed and deception rot them from within. People you once believed in may succumb to despair, manipulated by forces they cannot see. But amidst the chaos, there you stand, with a choice. Will you allow the fractures to define you, or will you fill them with the gold of redemption and purpose? You are not here to be destroyed. You are here to ascend. The Japanese art of kintsugi teaches us that brokenness is not the end, but the beginning of a new creation. When pottery shatters, it is not thrown away. Instead, it is mended with gold, every crack highlighted, every imperfection transformed into beauty. The result is not something lesser than it was before. It is something more, something greater, something that tells a story of resilience and rebirth. And so it is with you. What they call brokenness is the first step in your reconstruction. Every scar, every wound, every hardship is a place where your new strength will shine, where your spirit will glow with the brilliance of someone who has risen above. As the world around you collapses, it reveals not just its brokenness, but your capacity to rebuild. When systems fall apart, when lies are unmasked, when the ground beneath you feels unstable, you are not bound to join the ruins. You have the power to ascend, to rebuild yourself, and to create something unshakable. Your decision to rise is the spark that ignites hope, not just for yourself, but for others. Your resilience becomes a guiding light, proof that transformation is possible even in the darkest of times. The world may try to break you, but it can never destroy you. Every fracture, every failure, every fall is an invitation to rise stronger, brighter, more unstoppable than ever before. You are not simply repaired, you are transformed into something that surpasses what came before. You are the embodiment of resilience, a living example of the beauty that comes from rising through the fire. You are not broken, you are golden. The higher you rise, the harder they will pull. Opposition is not a sign of failure, but proof of your ascent. The forces that rise against you do so because they sense your power, your purpose, your light. As chosen ones, you are the point of balance in a universe built on polarity. Your elevation disrupts the equilibrium, drawing resistance from every shadow that fears your transformation. Do not mistake this for punishment. It is the design, the crucible that forges strength from struggle, wisdom from adversity, mastery from chaos. Opposition exists because unity is powerful. Your rise into divine purpose creates a ripple that disturbs the comfortable stagnation of the systems around you. Those systems cling to their control, their illusions, their dominance, and your awakening is their undoing. The opposing forces you face are not meant to destroy you, but to refine you. Like the tide crashes hardest against unyielding cliffs, resistance reveals the immovable strength within you. Every obstacle is an opportunity to deepen your mastery, every enemy a reflection of your potential. As 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 10 declares, "When I am weak, then I am strong." The moment opposition presses against you is the moment you discover how unbreakable you truly are. You were chosen not because the path is easy, but because you were built to navigate it. Opposition sharpens your discernment, teaching you to wield your wisdom like a blade. It forces you to confront your fears, to strengthen your resolve to rise higher than you ever thought possible. Without resistance, there is no growth. Without shadows, light has no definition. You are not here to escape the pull of polarity. You are here to transcend it. Do not fear the opposition. It is the proof of your rising. Where there is resistance, there is power. Where there is struggle, there is transformation. You are not defined by the forces that press against you, but by the strength with which you rise through them. Let the shadows pull. They only reveal how brightly you shine. When I stepped away, loneliness struck like a storm, tearing through every connection I thought was unshakable. People turned their backs, their silence louder than their words. Isolation wasn't just a state, it was a fire. It stripped me bare, leaving me to face the raw edges of who I was. At first I thought it was punishment, some cruel consequence of walking away from what no longer aligned with me. But in the crushing silence, something shifted. What I thought was abandonment became revelation. Loneliness was not the enemy, it was the forge. The solitude forced me to confront truths I had buried beneath distractions and comfort. It revealed the illusions I had clung to, the relationships and systems that weren't built on truth, but on convenience. In the stillness, I found clarity. The loneliness I had feared became my teacher. showing me the strength I didn't know I possessed. What felt like loss was the divine clearing space in my life for something greater. The noise of the world was stripped away, and in the quiet, I began to hear the call of my purpose. I remember standing apart, watching as everything familiar crumbled. It felt like I was being unraveled, undone. But as the layers fell away, I realized I wasn't losing myself. I was finding what had been hidden beneath the surface all along. The isolation wasn't the end. It was the beginning of transformation. Every moment of solitude was carving out the foundation for something unbreakable. When you walk the path of truth, loneliness will find you first. It will strip away everything that doesn't serve your mission, leaving only what is real and unshakable. It will test you, burn you, refine you. And when it's done, you'll stand stronger, clearer, more aligned than ever before. I thought loneliness was the darkness, but it was the fire lighting the way. They called you fallen because your power terrifies them. They labeled you broken because they couldn't control you. But the truth they refused to face is this: you were never meant to fit within their walls, their systems, their expectations. The moment you stepped away, you weren't falling. You were rising. Rising beyond their comprehension, beyond their reach, beyond their ability to define you. They see you through the lens of their fear, not your truth, because your transformation threatens everything they've built. What they don't understand, they try to destroy. But you are indestructible. Your departure wasn't betrayal. It was the act of reclaiming your soul. It was the refusal to live a life dictated by others' illusions. They wanted you to stay, bound by their rules, diminished by their expectations, but the divine spark in you demanded more. You chose the harder road, the one paved with fire and challenges, because deep down you knew you were not created for the shadows. You knew you were made to rise, to lead, to shine brighter than their fear could ever dim. What they saw as failure was your first step toward becoming what they could never control, your most powerful self. This is your time to reclaim your name. Refuse to be defined by their lies, their judgment, their smallness. You are not fallen. You are transformed. Every scar is a story. Every trial a testament to your strength. Every step forward a declaration that you cannot and will not be broken. They see you as their threat because your rising is proof that their power is an illusion. And as you ascend, you reveal the truth. That falling was never about losing. It was about becoming. Now let your voice roar. Your story is not just your own. It is a torch, a fire that will guide others out of the shadows. Share your truth boldly and without apology. Show the world how falling carved the path to your ascension, how their rejection forged your strength. Tell your story and let it set others free. Speak because your rise is the spark that ignites a revolution.